ESPN Radio all throughout the day.
This tends to be a category Stugatz owns every year. This is part of our annual award show. Here it is from the last year. What was the best dismissal?
And now the Suey nominees for Best Dismissal. Stugatz dismisses John Gruden. Listen, the Raiders as an organization should be ashamed of themselves because they could find $100 million for John Gruden, but they couldn't find any money for Khalil Mack. How do you sit there and preach leadership and accountability to your players, and then, big press conference, you shrink up and blame it on Reggie McKenzie? How do you do that? I'd say the players must be looking at him like, this guy is great. Who is this guy? I don't respect him. He's lost the locker room.
Wow.
And you do yourself a lot more good.
There it is. Stugatz finally says Stugatz finishes at the finish line of that particular marathon with his favorite finishing push, which is he's lost the locker room.
Do you think Derek Carr is looking at Gruden the same way today as he did a couple of days ago? I promise you he's not. And neither is anyone else. Maury Cooper, and that's about all the Raiders I can name. That's it. Those guys, they're not looking at Gruden the same way. They looked at him as a savior. Now they look at him like he's a kook. Stan Van Gundy dismisses Lubbock, Texas.
Cliff Kingsbury is absolutely my coaching hero at this point. I mean, understand, this guy not only had a losing record and got fired at Texas Tech, he was living in Lubbock, Texas. Now, I've been there. It is maybe the worst place in this country.
Amin El Hassan and Billy Gill dismiss Mina Kimes' dog, Lenny.
I got a question. How did they cast Mina's dog? Because it's one of the dumbest animals I've ever seen. And it managed to perform the role. And
Jesus. Ouch.
Like, I'm surprised he didn't crap all over the place.
My God.
Is he wrong?
You don't know that. What?
I mean, is he wrong about that? Did that dog seem particularly bright to you?
Lenny's a pretty dumb dog.
He didn't strike me.
Oh, that was her actual dog.
That was Lenny. That's what I'm saying, yeah.
So you're good with Mina knowing that you think that her dog is dumb?
What is she going to do to me?
Stan Van Gundy dismisses kale.
No one eats kale. Like, if I see the word kale on a menu, I'm moving on to the next item. I mean, kale salad. And I mean, come on, stop. A kale smoothie. Who's going to get a kale smoothie when you can get, like, strawberry banana? Kale, come on.
Sid Seixeiro dismisses Skip Bayless.
Look, I have no interest on what the overpaid old Italian grandmother on Fox is saying. This is one of the craziest Canadian sports stories of all time. And some washed-up former ESPN employee, I wipe my with what that guy said.
Billy Gill dismisses modern-day photography.
What did he actually do for that photo? I'm assuming that camera was just placed there, and he had like a button that's a remote control that took like 1,000 pictures. If you give me a camera and I could just put it somewhere and push a button.
You could take one of the greatest sports photographs ever taken?
No. I could find one of the greatest sports photos ever taken in a batch of 7,000 photos that were taken. Boom, 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 boom.
I don't feel like you know anything about photography.
If you push a button and it takes 1,000 pictures, you're going to find a good one in the batch.
There were a lot of photographers there. One got that photograph. Okay, good retort.
They just push a little way. Haven't you ever passed by photographers? I guarantee you when that shot was taken, we didn't just hear, that's not what you heard. If you were by that camera,
he does a good camera.
Stugatz dismisses Bill Simmons.
Simmons, are you kidding me? You guys have had the best 18-year run of any city in the history of sports. I mean, enough of the demons, enough of them coming out of your attic, enough of them sitting on the sofa next to you. There are no more demons. You want to try something off for size, Simmons? Try being a Mets fan, a Jets fan, an Islander fan, a Knicks fan. They have won exactly nothing in my lifetime. Zero. Squat. Nothing. You have had the greatest 15-year run of any sports fan in the history of sports. I'm tired of hearing about the Boston Demons. They were exercised 14 years ago.
Dan dismisses Uber drivers.
Should Uber drivers who just stop in the street to pick up people be immediately arrested? First of all, Uber drivers ruin the taxi business, and so they should be punished for it. And furthermore, Uber drivers are more egregious. I never know who in front of me is an Uber driver. I know when they stop, and it takes 10 minutes for them to move because they're just waiting for somebody in the street.
Or they have a lit sign in front of the car. They should have one for the back
They should be
window.
arrested, is what they should be.
Billy Gill dismisses Bear Grylls.
Bear, before you came on this show, we were waiting for you because you were in an elevator and your phone wasn't working. Were the stairs broken today?
Yeah, and we were on the 30th floor.
Billy, of all the things to ask this guy, that's what you ask him?
Well, the thing is, Dan, I don't want to upset him, but the last question took him 5 minutes to answer. So if I ask him which celebrity he wanted to let die, we'd be going on
wow,
forever.
Really, Billy? But you're right.
Jeff Van Gundy dismisses the chili cheese Frito.
Chris Long, alleged Walter Payton Man of the Year, says the chili cheese Frito is a first ballot Hall of Fame chip. Yes or no, Jeff Van Gundy?
I would have no idea. I wouldn't put that in my mouth.
Oh, wow.
Good call. Good call, Jeff. Nice job, baby.
Good call, Jeff. Yeah, you saved it.
Billy Gill dismisses trees.
Risk reward of going into the woods by yourself. You die or you see some trees. I'm not going to die to go see some trees. Listen to me. You've seen one tree, you've seen them all, okay? There's no special
That's
trees
not
out
true
there.
at all.
That is absolutely
I
not
feel like it's true. I'm
There's
with
no
Billy on
special
that.
trees.
That is like This is nonsense.
Hank Azaria dismisses Billy for rambling.
Each one of those prickly areas, if you were to watch this video, you would believe that you could just peel that off of the center of the pineapple once you've cut off the top, and it turns into like a bite-sized little piece of pineapple that you can chew. So you go and you get the pineapple, you cut off the top, and you're like, all right, perfect, this is just going to peel off, and I'm going to be eating them like M&Ms. Not the case. Then people are sticking their hands in the pineapple trying to rip off these pieces. It's not working, and it's because it was like one specific type of pineapple, I think, that you could do that way.
I kid you not that 45 seconds ago, our guest here, a big movie star in Hollywood, threw up his hands and just looked at you like, why is he still talking?
Honestly, those are seconds of my life I will never get back. Your audience will never get that
Minutes.
back. Watching the video would have been really boring. Hearing the video described is just impossibly boring. What were you even talking about? Who cares? My God, man. Get a hold of yourself.
Am I allowed to speak now, or what are we going to do here?
Well, keep it tight.
Stugotz dismisses the Rams and Warriors for not giving us guests anymore.
You know what? I'm tired of the Rams. I'll tell you right now. Because here's what, and it happened with Golden State, too. These teams who have been lousy forever, all of a sudden they get good. I mean, I had the Warriors begging me to put guests on these shows before they became any good. And then they become good, and you can't get someone on. I'm trying to get Sean McVay on with Stan Van Gundy because I think it'd be fun for two coaches just cutting it up. You know, a couple of mentions.
And it would be fun, but McVay is slightly busy now, and the world, surprisingly, doesn't revolve around you.
I understand saying no to next week, but this week he's got nothing to do. And what's he doing?
They're getting ready for the Super Bowl.
Come on.
Stugotz dismisses Drake.
I mean, this Drake guy, I'm serious. I leave the show Friday thinking I have the perfect Friday set up, okay? Drake is playing with Migos down at the American Airlines Arena, so I had that all set up. I had the golf, I had the lesson, the massage, the drinks, the house to myself, LT, a football life, on a loop until my kids get home from the concert. And what does Drake do on my way home? Cancels the concert. Now, listen, he ruined my kids' weekend, but really, he ruined my weekend because I had that day set up. And here's the problem. First off, Drake, you don't do that to the kids, and you don't do that to me.
Wait a minute, he was
the day of the concert.
He was sick or something.
Play with pain. I mean, seriously, here's the problem. The rescheduled date is a Monday. I don't want to do any of that on a Monday. I just like to come, do the show, go home, and go to sleep. So, Drake, just a terrible job. Listen, you're going to make a concert date, stick to it, for crying out loud. Should be ashamed of yourself, Drake.
Stugotz dismisses PETA.
PETA, please. I mean, find something better to complain about. Better use of your time, please, okay? Than telling the Bisco to change a box of animal crackers because the animals are caged like they would be in a zoo and you want them roaming some grassy land. I mean, PETA, seriously, there has to be more important animal issues out there than tackling the animal cracker box. Either way, I'm eating those crackers. I mean, whether those animals are in a cage or they're roaming a grassy knoll, I am eating those crackers. I love those crackers. You have to think PETA has some better things to do. There are animals, real animals, suffering out there.
Stan Van Gundy dismisses Poop Sandwich as the Lakers head coach.
Look, Poop Sandwich may not have been the Lakers' top choice, but he was certainly number 2. And this hiring stinks. He runs a constipated offense. His teams have played crappy defense. They just loaf around. And frankly, this hire just leaves a bad taste in my mouth.